If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. In Cleveland, the quarterback situation just got a lot more intriguing. A new report has stirred up reactions across the NFL world, centering around rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders and controversial veteran Deshaun Watson. According to Browns insider Mary Kay Cabot, Watson, who is still recovering from a torn Achilles, isn't just staying active in team meetings and quarterback sessions. He's playing mentor, and his top pupil, it seems, is none other than Deion Sanders' son, the promising rookie Shedeur. That revelation alone was enough to spark thousands of comments, memes, and hot takes from NFL fans everywhere. While Watson's mentorship might sound like a positive sign of leadership and maturity on the surface, it's the history behind his name that's igniting concern, comedy, and a little bit of chaos online. Watson, to his credit, has reportedly been a supportive and vocal presence during this offseason. Cabot's report notes that he's been a great cheerleader for the quarterback room, encouraging the group of QBs battling for the starting spot. But it's his relationship with the rookies, especially Sanders, that stands out. He's taking a hands-on role with the young players, offering insights, advice, and, as some would put it, taking them under his wing. Normally, this would be the kind of veteran leadership teams dream about. However, when that veteran comes with Watson's controversial track record, public perception takes a sharp turn. Instead of celebrating a potential bond between a star in decline and a star on the rise, many are questioning whether this is a recipe for disaster. Social media was quick to explode. Comments range from sarcastic to flat-out brutal. "This is laugh-out-loud funny," one user posted, capturing the general vibe. Others were more biting, referencing shows like The Sopranos or films like Training Day to make their point. Watson might not be the role model people want mentoring the next generation. One tweet joked that Sanders would soon be touring the best massage parlors in the land, an obvious and uncomfortable callback to the scandal that followed Watson from Houston to Cleveland. Another simply said, "The pain of being a Browns fan never freaking ends," summing up the fanbase's exhaustion. Deshaun Watson's off-field troubles are, unfortunately, the most talked about part of his legacy so far. Over a dozen women accused him of sexual misconduct during massage appointments, and although he settled many of the civil cases and avoided criminal charges, the cloud has never truly lifted. For many fans, it's not just about whether Watson should still be in the NFL, it's whether he should be allowed to serve as a role model for rookies. The idea that he's mentoring Shedeur Sanders, who carries the weight of his famous name and significant expectations, feels tone-deaf to many. It's not a question of Watson's football IQ or experience, it's a matter of judgment and optics. And let's not forget the on-field issues. Since arriving in Cleveland on a massive, fully guaranteed contract, Watson hasn't come close to regaining his Pro Bowl form. He's been plagued by injuries and inconsistency. In 3 seasons, he's appeared in just 19 games. That's hardly the resume of a reliable leader, especially one being touted as a mentor for the next generation. His physical absence from games, paired with the heavy emotional and public baggage he carries, makes it harder for fans to embrace this narrative of redemption or leadership. If he were still throwing 40 touchdowns a year, maybe the story would land differently. But in reality, he's been more of a ghost than a savior for the Browns. Shedeur Sanders, meanwhile, enters the league with a unique blend of hype and pressure. Son of NFL legend and current college coach Deion Sanders, Shedeur has already spent years in the spotlight. He's talented, media-savvy, and comes with sky-high expectations. For many, he's seen as the future face of whichever franchise lands him. That's why the idea of him being mentored by Watson feels so risky to fans. It's not just about football, it's about influence, legacy, and the type of professional habits he's absorbing. In theory, Watson's experience should be an asset, but in practice, the pairing seems like something out of a parody script, rather than a real development plan. Of course, none of this is to say that Deshaun Watson is incapable of being a good mentor. People can grow, they can change, but when your past is this loaded, and your present is filled with uncertainty, the margin for error disappears. Browns fans and NFL fans at large aren't responding to this news with excitement or curiosity. They're responding with skepticism, memes, and a healthy dose of fear. In the world of professional sports, perception often becomes reality, and right now, the perception is that Shedeur Sanders deserves a cleaner, more stable influence in his early career. He doesn't just need a mentor, he needs the right mentor. In some ways, this situation highlights the broader dysfunction in Cleveland. The Browns have long been a team haunted by bad decisions, bad luck, and bizarre storylines just when the franchise seems like it might turn the corner. Something like this comes along to remind everyone why the Browns are, well, the Browns. For fans who already endured the Johnny Manziel saga, the Baker Mayfield roller coaster, and now the Watson gamble, hearing that their most promising rookie is being guided by the most controversial player on the roster feels like deja vu wrapped in irony. It's hard to blame fans for bracing for impact. Ultimately, the Shedeur-Watson pairing might never amount to anything beyond off-season headlines. It's possible that Watson is simply trying to be helpful, and Sanders is smart enough to filter the good from the bad. It's also possible that this is just another weird moment in a franchise full of them, destined to fade into the background as the season unfolds. But one thing is clear, when the news dropped, everyone had something to say. And almost no one said, "This is a great idea." In fact, most said the exact opposite. Because in Cleveland, even good intentions come with baggage, and everyone is just hoping that Shedeur doesn't end up carrying more than his fair share. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Rumors have been swirling around the NFL world lately, and one name that just won't stay out of the headlines is Hill. And now, the latest buzz has fans and analysts buzzing with curiosity. There are whispers that Hill is in negotiations with none other than the Cleveland Browns. Yes, you heard that right. The Browns, a team that's been aggressively trying to position itself as a legitimate contender in the AFC, might be working behind the scenes to land one of the most electrifying talents in the league. Nothing has been confirmed officially, but multiple sources close to the situation are suggesting that preliminary talks have indeed taken place. If this turns out to be true, it could shake up the balance of power in the AFC in a major way. The Browns are not playing around, and the idea of adding Hill to that offense is both terrifying and thrilling. Let's be clear here. This isn't just about a flashy name or headline bait. Hill is a game changer. His speed, his ability to stretch the field, his knack for making the impossible look routine. That's the kind of player who can single-handedly flip a game on its head. And if Cleveland is truly engaged in discussions with him, it means they're doubling down on the idea of building around Deshaun Watson. The front office has taken heat for some of its past decisions, but landing a talent like Hill could completely rewrite the narrative. Think about what this would mean for Amari Cooper, for David Njoku, for Nick Chubb. This offense would suddenly become one of the most explosive in the league. Defenses wouldn't know who to key in on. It would open up every level of the playbook, and with Kevin Stefanski's offensive mind, the possibilities would be endless. Now, of course, any potential move like this raises a ton of questions. First, the money. Hill isn't going anywhere on a discount. He's still under contract with the Miami Dolphins, and his cap hit isn't exactly light. So if this is going to happen, the Browns would need to either structure a massive trade deal or hope for some kind of restructuring or release, both of which feel like long shots at this point, but that hasn't stopped insiders from talking. Some believe there's real friction brewing in Miami. There have been subtle social media hints, vague comments in interviews, and a sense that maybe Hill is looking for a fresh start. Could Cleveland be that fresh start? Could the Browns be laying the groundwork for one of the biggest offseason moves in recent memory? It's also worth looking at the timeline. The Browns have been eerily quiet lately, especially with training camp just around the corner. They've made some solid additions on defense, sure, but the offensive side has felt a bit incomplete. It's like they're waiting for a domino to fall, and if Hill is that domino, everything starts to make sense. Maybe they've been saving cap space. Maybe they've been in the ear of Hill's agents for weeks now. This could be a masterstroke by GM Andrew Berry, the kind of bold, calculated risk that separates good teams from great ones. And let's be honest, Cleveland is tired of being good. They want to win now. The fan base is hungry. The pressure is on, and the window with Watson isn't going to stay open forever. But even if these talks are in the early stages, there's always the chance that this is just posturing, a way to leverage a better deal elsewhere. That's how this league works. Sometimes a leak like this is exactly what an agent needs to drive up the price for another team. Maybe Hill isn't even serious about leaving Miami. Maybe he's just testing the waters, seeing what else is out there. Or maybe this is a warning shot to the Dolphins front office. A pay me or play without me kind of message. Still, the fact that Cleveland is the team being mentioned says a lot. This isn't the Jets. This isn't the Raiders. This is a team that believes it's on the cusp and is willing to roll the dice to get over that hump. Let's not forget, the Browns have been here before. Remember the Odell Beckham Jr. saga? Remember the hype, the headlines, the jersey sales. They know what it's like to bring in a superstar with all eyes watching. That experience, both the highs and the lows, could actually help them here. They know what went wrong last time. They've learned from the drama. They've built a stronger locker room culture. And with a quarterback like Watson who thrives on deep ball chemistry, it makes even more sense. Hill isn't just any receiver. He's a perfect scheme fit. He's chaos in cleats. And putting that in a city like Cleveland, where fans live and die with every snap, would ignite a kind of energy this franchise hasn't felt in decades. Of course, there's a flip side to all this. Hill comes with baggage, not just financial baggage, but the kind of off-field storylines that tend to dominate headlines. The Browns have already taken heat for their acquisition of Deshaun Watson, and doubling down with another controversial figure might be too much for some fans to handle. There's a real risk of alienating part of the fan base, but then again, in the NFL, winning often changes the narrative. If the Browns start 5-0 with Hill catching bombs down the sideline, all the noise tends to quiet down, and let's not act like this is new territory for franchises chasing championships. Sometimes, talent wins out. Sometimes, front offices make moves that seem crazy until they work behind the scenes. It's clear the Browns are doing something. There's just too much smoke here for it to be nothing. Whether it's an exploratory call, a real offer on the table, or just kicking the tires, the organization is in movement. And if Hill really is in play, other teams are going to start circling too. You can bet the Chiefs, the Ravens, maybe even the Bills will want a word, but Cleveland may have the advantage. They've got a big-arm quarterback, a creative offense, and a sense of urgency. That combination is deadly, and Hill, if he's truly thinking legacy right now, might just see Cleveland as more than a paycheck. He might see it as a chance to shock the world. So what's next? We wait, we watch, we listen. These things don't happen overnight, and if the Browns are smart, they're keeping this under wraps as long as possible. But the chatter is growing. Sources are starting to overlap, and when that happens in the NFL world, it's often a sign that something real is brewing. Maybe Hill ends up staying in Miami. Maybe this all fizzles out. But maybe, just maybe, we're days or weeks away from one of the boldest moves of the offseason. And if that move includes TYREEK Hill and Brown and Orange, well, buckle up. The AFC North might never be the same again. As always, we'll keep our ears to the ground and bring you every update as it comes in. But don't be surprised if you wake up one morning soon and see that notification. Breaking, Hill traded to Browns. Until then, let the speculation fly. Let the theories run wild. Because in the NFL, especially this time of year, anything is possible. And when you hear this kind of rumor, you can't help but wonder, what if? What if the Cleveland Browns are about to pull off the unthinkable? Stay tuned. It's going to be a wild ride. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!